I would say that in certain circumstances, like those you mentioned, exceptionally, if you're not going to scandalize anybody, because they know that you're a Catholic, they know that you're sticking to the true faith, and then they see you at the new Mass, the conclusion that many of them will draw is the new Mass is okay because she's going. You've got to be careful of that. So you've got to be careful. I myself don't think that the new Mass is always invalid. I don't think that. The Archbishop of Defende didn't think that. There's nothing in the text of the new Mass which makes it inevitably invalid. There are people who say so. I don't think they're right. According to Catholic theology, I don't think they're right. I think, as you say, that it's very possible that the consecration is for real. You say that it's a priest who says it worthily. What I would say is that tomorrow there are going to be many novice order priests who are going to come through, while there are going to be traditional priests who are not going to come through. Exactly what I've been saying, on the principles I've been saying. Some of the last will be first and some of the first will be last. That I believe. That's not a reason to go over to the novice order. Far from it. The principles are clear, and the wrongness of the novice order Mass as a whole is clear. But does that mean that every novice order Mass is invalid? The golden rule is this, that the absolute rule of rules seems to be this. Do whatever you need to nourish your faith. If to nourish your faith you need to, and the Archbishop said, if you want to look after your Catholic faith, stay away from the new Mass. That he did say. So, but if, for instance, should I attend a society Mass, I take the position, do whatever you need. If you need to attend a society Mass, a decent society Mass, just like she's spoken of a decent novice order Mass, if you need to attend a decent society Mass in order to nourish your faith, go to the society Mass. If you need to stay away from every society Mass in order to protect your faith, then stay away from every society Mass. So there's not something that you can say to everybody. It's case by case. In my opinion, some resistant priests who shall remain nameless, but they do exist, say stay away from every society Mass. I can understand. I don't condemn the opinion. I can understand the opinion. It's not my opinion. But God knows who's right. I may be wrong. I don't. But that I don't think. I think that there are many society Masses still capable of nourishing people's faith without corrupting it. But the moment that you're away, if you go to society Masses, you've certainly got to keep your eyes and your ears open. You've got to watch and pray. And if the moment you watch and listen and realize that there's a false note coming in, the priest is sliding. He's not preaching against the council any longer. He's even suggesting that the council is not so bad. He's not talking against Pope Francis in any way, despite the horrors that are coming out of Pope Francis's mouth, the incredible things he's doing and saying. Morality is you've got to make up on your own, he said. Who am I to judge? And then there's no Catholic God. I mean, this Pope is expressing himself in an incredibly dangerous and foolish way. You've got to stay away from that. And when that starts creeping into a society Mass, or when it's clearly there in a novice order Mass, you stay away. But there are some novice order priests with novice order parishes. They get in trouble with their bishops. They get in trouble with their novice order bishops because they are nourishing and building the faith in their novice order parish. They celebrate Mass as decently as possible. They hold benedictions of the Blessed Sacrament. They encourage the Rosary. The people respond. The Catholics respond, especially since he's not yet against the mainstream authority. Then, of course, the mainstream authority, sooner or later, sure enough, will come down on him. They'll move him to a backwoods parish, whatever it is. But the grace was passing. I don't know if any of you know. Again, I'm going to get hanged, but that's in the that goes with the territory. There have been Eucharistic miracles with the novice order Mass. 2001 was in Barberville or something in Michigan in the early 2000s, Sokolk in Poland in the early 2000s, and another one in New Jersey in the early 2000s. This is the Novus Ordo Mass and the Eucharistic miracles. Recently in Argentina, these miracles are still occurring. Why? Because while the new religion is false, it's dangerous, and it strangles grace, and it's helping many people to lose the faith, at the same time, there are still cases where it can be used and is used still to build the faith. I would like to say it's all black or it's all white, but if I look at the way it is, it's something of both. Black is not white, white is not black, but the reality is black or white, there's an alternation of black and white, or there's a mixture of black and white and grey. That's real life. Therefore, the essential principle is do whatever you need to keep the faith. If a priest that you trust says, stay absolutely away from the new Mass, well, if you trust him, that might be the advice to take. Or if he says, stay absolutely away from the Mass of this priest, because I know that he's misleading, that's the advice to follow. But you make your own judgments. At our judgment, when we appear in front of our Maker, we're going to answer for the people we're going to answer for whose advice we chose to follow. We're not going to be acquitted simply because we followed the advice of a priest. Because the priests are obviously today not necessarily reliable. I've got to watch and pray, I've got to use my own mind, I've got to make my own decisions in my own circumstances. Therefore, there are cases when even the Novus Ordo Mass can be attended with an effect of building one's faith instead of losing it. That's almost heresy within tradition. But that's what I think. But I hope it's clear that I don't therefore say the Novus Ordo Mass is good, or the Novus Ordo religion is good, or all Novus Ordo priests are good. It's not the case. Obviously not the case. Generally, it's a tremendous danger, because the new religion is very seductive. It's very soft and sweet and sticky, and it's easy to go with it and lose the Catholic faith. You have a new and different faith.